senior sponsorship or mentoring, and so are not recognized as board potential. Women often can't rise to the board level because they've been denied opportunities earlier in their careers. Sitting on a board requires management experience, and biases often keep women in lower level positions. A lack of self-confidence among women and a hesitation to pursue executive level jobs also causes men and women to question the abilities and dedication of female employees. Women also have to deal with societal expectations and popular culture, which reinforces the stereotypes of women as homemakers and men as leaders. Finally, women can feel uncomfortable doing the networking required to achieve boardroom spots, which is often male-dominated. And as a result of all these challenges, the pipeline of women qualified for board positions is relatively small. But the case for more women on boards is strong. Studies have repeatedly shown that increasing diversity is not only the right thing to do for an organization's culture, it also leads to better business outcomes. Increased diversity leads to smarter decision-making, contributes to an organization's bottom line, and powers innovation, among other benefits. Diversity improves performance across companies and across industries, especially when the important threshold of 3 women on the board is reached. Inclusive and diverse boards are more likely to be effective boards, better able to understand their customers and stakeholders and to benefit from fresh perspectives, new ideas, vigorous challenges, and board experience. This in turn leads to better decision-making, as many studies over the last few years have illustrated. Female directors enhance board independence. Women take NED roles more seriously, preparing more consciously for meetings. And women ask the awkward questions. And I know, as I hear that a lot of myself. And decisions are less likely to be nodded through. So, homogeneity, i.e. the same gender among directors, can produce groupthink. Women bring different perspectives to the table, to the debate and the decisions. We are seeing this happening when the diversity level is low in the professional development courses we run. And studies have shown that 3 women are required to change boardroom dynamics. And a critical mass of 30% or more women at board level or in senior management position produces the best financial results. So what does business need to do differently to ensure more women make it into board director positions? In my own journey to becoming a board director here at the Institute of Directors in London, I found a lot of confidence strength in having a supporting circle around me, consisting of my husband, my family members, friends, and other female colleagues and business associates. And as many of you have probably experienced too, or will still experience, I thought I needed to be much older and showing a longer work experience track record to actually be an interesting candidate to join a board. And I started to doubt myself, nervous that I wasn't able to answer questions in a board meeting in the right way, just like I got nervous when I got the invite to share with you all today my story and opinion. And the easiest thing was to say, no, thank you, I'm too busy. I'm a proud mom of 2 children trying to juggle work-life balance. I don't speak sophisticated English as others, and my insecurity took over thinking I was not good enough. But I was wrong. And the chair of the board of the Institute of Directors called me unexpectedly to ask me to start the process to join his board. It didn't matter that I'm Dutch, that I'm directing my communications, and that I'm a younger woman. He and other board members saw that I can play a valuable role with them as part of the board by being me, by sharing my experiences and providing different perspectives. And I'm proud of this. And now I have reached this position. I hope I can influence change through the Institute of Directors to help women all over the world. I have a daughter of 11 years old, and not only as a mother, but also as a professional, I would like to be a role model. And then it will be normal for her to achieve what she wants without getting the stamp of being a full-time working mom who can't always be at the school grounds to pick up her children. To really understand how we can help women, we need to understand what they need. So one of my first jobs here at the Institute of Directors has been to commission research to find out how we could adapt to increase our female membership across the globe. Our research found that gender diversity requires more than having a policy in place that is focused on diversity of thought. It requires leaders who recognize gender inequality to begin with and to start putting the right policies in place to tackle it. These should not be focused on women. It's not the women who need to be fixed, it's the system. It's all the performance standards, policies, procedures, structures, and norms that are built with an age-old ideal in mind. There are a number of actions that chairs, boards, and executives can put in place today to accelerate progress. This includes setting the tone from the top, making gender parity a priority throughout the entire organization, and holding leadership accountable to make progress. The benefits of diversity extend beyond the four walls of a single company. The trickle-down effect of women in the boardroom, breaking down stereotypes, encouraging young girls and women to pursue careers traditionally dominated by men, and by breaking down the wage gap, are all important steps along the way to greater economic opportunity for women and to more inclusive societies. We also discovered that women are clear in what they need to help them achieve their career goals. They do feel comfortable networking if they can recognize themselves in the network, and that they benefit from support with training, mentoring, and from seeing clear role models that encourage their confidence by reflecting their age, their stage in life, and the size of their business. So like every organization, we need to put diversity, equality, and inclusion at the heart of our strategic planning, commit to accountable metrics and transparent scrutiny, and making it a priority as leaders to ensure every one of our employees feel respected, safe, and acknowledged within the workplace. The best organizations, the ones who are reaping the benefits of diversity, are the ones where their leaders are at the helm of the inclusion effort. Of course, this diversity must be authentic. We need to move from performative statements to leading from the top, committing to understanding the challenges and doing the work to overcome them. In my position here at the Institute of Directors, I feel that responsibility to ensure we're doing everything we can possibly to support more women. And we already have some excellent initiatives in place. Our Boardroom Africa programs offer, with governmental funding, professional director training to African women to ensure more women from diverse backgrounds have the tools they need to succeed. Over the duration of the relationship up to today, I'm proudly saying we are having trained almost 200 women board members through the relationship with the Boardroom Africa, and I'm looking forward to many more to come. But we know there's more to be done, and over the next few months we will be rolling out a series of new initiatives to encourage women everywhere to believe in their own abilities and to reach their potentials. We want to enable a supportive community of women within our membership and beyond, by creating an international community focused on connecting women directors and aspiring directors via a combination of virtual and physical events. We want to share inspirational role models by profiling inspirational women from inside and outside the Institute of Directors, sharing their stories across the media and all social media channels, and working with these people as mentors for other directors. We want to develop the skills of current and future women directors by encouraging more women to undertake the professional training and development they need to give them the skills and confidence to go for the top jobs. It's part of the long life learning concepts, which I value very much and I experience every day. And we want to build a more diverse Institute of Directors by sharing and educating all our members and stakeholders on the case for board diversity and the role of directors in building diverse, successful organizations and societies. To conclude, we know that women are still underrepresented on boards, and we also know that business benefits when boards are more diverse. But we're also beginning to realize that it's not only that women need the tools and belief to reach the top, but that the business and governmental environments need to change to enable women to feel comfortable. Change is happening and progress is being made, but there's more to be done, and I hope the headway we are making here at the Institute of Directors can contribute to that change. Thank you for listening. I invite you to connect and push further on this change with me together. Have a good day.
Esther, thanks very, very much for joining us here and, of course, talking to us about very, very important issues affecting women when we take a look at the global perspective. So thanks so much to you. Now, Our guest, my guest that I have got sitting with me, and I have to tell you something, I miss being with people. That is what I crave, is the fact that you actually get to speak to somebody who's in front of you as opposed to always just speaking to somebody through the camera. It's amazing what you get from that person when you're sitting with them and in their presence. And already I can tell that this is one of our legends, and you know that already. Kgothatso Montjane is a South African wheelchair tennis player who has done exceptionally well in her career, and also the first Black South African woman to actually go and compete at Wimbledon. What a joy to meet you.
Look, thanks for having me here today, and good morning to all the ladies out there.
Yeah, and you know, what a platform to be able to be here. I mean, I know it feels like it's you and I in the studio, but there are about 10,000 people that are currently watching us registered to be a part of this today. So I mean, it's nice to have these kind of things where your message can get out there, and what a big message you've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very challenging with this COVID that we don't get to see people or interact with people. But yeah, it's quite an honor for me today to just like be here and get to chat to you, because I've also been seeing on the screens.
Exactly. So to meet in person, it's really. Listen, I just want to get rid of this one. Do you know Funeka? Have you met Funeka before?
No.
So you're not related.
For sure, we are related somehow.
Somehow you're related. If you speak long enough, you'll find. Because Funeka, I'm looking at these surnames. It's a little bit too coincidental. Kgothatso Montjane, Funeka Montjane. I don't know. I'm seeing that. I had to ask you that. Otherwise, it's going to bug me the whole time. Congratulations to you and for what you've achieved so far. I mean, I look at tennis as a because I do try and play tennis, I'll be honest with you. I get out there on a Friday morning and I play with friends of mine, and I go in, and I mean, I just play for fun. But you know, to go and take it to the level that you have, was it always something that you dreamt of doing, or you were telling me that's something you fell into much later in life, actually?
Well, thank you. Obviously, tennis, I ended up in tennis accidentally, you know. I was a very active learner at school because I was so good in table tennis and wheelchair basketball. And I think at school, they recruited me from there because I was very active and I was doing well in sports. So they just approached me like, you're going to be the one to represent our school. I'm like, but I don't play tennis. I've never seen tennis. I don't know what it is. So they were not asking me. But I just took a chance that, let me go represent my school well. And I just got there and observed a bit. I was like, I can do this thing. And I started playing, and they were like, good, you got a potential. So that's where it all started. But for me, I just thought, because I was in matric, I can just do this and it will be all done. And next year I go to university, you know, I can just live my life. But when I get to university, tennis happened to be the only sport activity for people with physical disabilities at that particular university. So I love playing sport. So sort of like, okay, I'm stuck with this thing. As long as I can keep busy after classes, well, we'll see how it goes.
And that's what you did. And you went onto the court and you played and you played and you played. So it's 17 years old. I mean, you got kids that are from, you know, as small as anything starting to play, but you got this later on in life. And I mean, if we look at what you've achieved so far, it's just phenomenal. I mean, just now we can look at the SA Open. That's the reality. You just won that now. So I mean, this is for the second time. It just seems to be that you're getting stronger and stronger as the years and days go by. But hang on a second. I'm hearing that we're having a problem with your mic. I don't want you to answer another question, because if we miss one word from you, it's going to be my fault. I don't want to miss a thing. So we're going to take a very quick break, sort out the sound, because I don't want you to miss a word that we're talking about today. This is inspiration like you've never. Stay tuned. Quick break. We'll see you after this.
You are bold, you are strong, nothing can stop you. Now is your time. Rewrite history. Introducing the Standard Bank Top Women Conference 2021, bringing together a diverse group of global female thought leaders. A space where powerful women band together and rise by lifting each other. Embrace your differences because they are your advantage. Use your voice, loud and clear, as we unite to not only take our seat at the table, but reshape it. Be the change. Be a top woman.
Well, welcome back. I hope that everything's sorted now and we can get into that conversation because, like I said to you, I don't want you to miss a word about it. And to have Kgotatso Montjane with us here today is a great privilege and honor. So I'm going to get straight back into it, not to waste any more time in this. So, Kgotatso, you were telling us, in summary, I'll quickly summarize to anybody that may have missed it. I mean, was you taking to this quite late on in life, 17 years old, started playing in matric, went to university. It was the only sports offering for anybody with disabilities, and you jumped into it and you just soared from there, which is quite incredible. But you know, when you look at the challenges that you face, I mean, not to mention, let's say, one challenge, unfortunately, which we seem to be pushing through, is being a woman. Second challenge is being disabled. Now, you know, what has that been like for you?
Yeah, look, like you say, you know, the challenge started while I was still young, you know, having to be born with disability. It wasn't an easy thing. Actually, I started tennis at the age of 19 because I started school really late because I was born and raised in the rural areas and everything was quite far, even the school. So they had on the radio that there was a school for people with physical disabilities and it was a boarding school, both primary and secondary. So they decided to take me there because it was a struggle for me to just like walk a distance anyway. So that was quite a challenge on its own. But my parents took me to this school whereby I found it being a great environment for me because you get there, you see other people with disabilities and you're like, oh, so I'm not alone, you know? Yeah. So you sort of feel comfortable and it's a positive environment because I get a lot of inspiration from there. When I see someone without arms, being able to make their own bed, I mean, I question myself. What about you? What is it that you can do if that one can do that, you know? Yeah. So I grew up around a lot of inspiration and motivation in life, you know? So what happened, they introduced me to sports. And for me, there was just one thing that I lived with at school. It's all that I wanted to do after school. Just play and play and play and play and play. I mean, tennis, it's something foreign to me. I've never heard of it. Wow. I never knew it before, but when they said go play tennis, I wasn't so keen because as a matric learner, you want to do well. Yeah. You want to go to university with flying colors, but it happened to be something that I was stuck with. I didn't even know what it entailed, you know. So having to take it up after graduating, I decided I'm going to, focus on this thing and play it full time. See, yeah, because I love traveling for the mere fact that it gave me an opportunity to see the world. I was like, oh, maybe this is something cool to really do, but I didn't know all the challenges that were involved into the sport. So it was tough. Like you say, being a woman and having a disability and also playing sport in this
Yeah.
country on its own, it's the biggest challenge because you don't really get a lot of support for just being a woman and play sport at the same time.
And this is the reality, unfortunately, that we live with. And I mean, coming from a rural area, chances are, like you say, never picked up a tennis racket, never thrown a ball, never hit a ball, and still having a disability and still making it to Wimbledon finals. I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. Firstly, you were the first black woman from South Africa to go and compete at Wimbledon, which in itself is one of the greatest accolades that we can give you. And then to get into the finals of Wimbledon, following in the footsteps of the greatest people that are ever out there, what was that like for you?
Look, I'm happy I never knew that I was going to be the first one because I was just playing for fun. But let me take you back that for me to even just be able to get to Wimbledon, since this is about women, it was a woman who was behind this because in 2018, I was going through a lot of financial struggles in tennis. I had no sponsors, I had no funding, but there's just one woman in my head that I kept bothering, so like, I need money, I need help, I need help. I remember sending a lot of emails to our former First Lady, Mrs. Mbeki, because I used to see her on our tournaments, and she used to just send me emails whenever she see that I've done well. Then when that time came where I was, facing a lot, she's the first person that I thought of, she gotta do something, she gotta do something. And you know what? Luckily, she responded.
Wow.
And with that particular money, it took me to Roland Garros. And when I'm in Roland Garros, I'm hearing the news that I have to go to Wimbledon. I'm like, I already used most of that money. But you know what? I will add it up with my prize money and go to Wimbledon. And I had to go alone because the coach
You couldn't afford to take your coach.
Yeah, but it's the player who had to be there anyway. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's my first experience, so I can't miss it. But for the mere fact that it's a woman who really helped me to achieve that. And I thought it could be my last tournament. But with that, I fell in the hands of two women after that who were like, we will take care of you. And that's how I got signed with the Optimize agency with the Casaletti sisters, Amy and Vivian. I mean, they came through for me, and since then, my life has changed. And that's why today we can sit here and talk about Wimbledon final. Because for me, my career ended up in 2018. Wow. And they just sort of, carried me through, gave me hope again, keep pushing me. And today, as we're sitting here, we're talking Wimbledon, sharing the stage with your Serena, your Naomi Osaka. It's an incredible experience, but I wouldn't have done that without the support of those women.
Oh, I love your story. I really do. Just like you may be hearing this for the first time, I'm hearing this for the first time. So I'm sitting here like a little child. My mouth is dropping. I'm getting tears in my eyes just thinking about this because, if like you say, your journey was facilitated by the generosity and the help of women. And that is a very rare, unfortunately, sometimes a very rare thing to hear because, there's so many opportunity or so little or few opportunities, unfortunately, for women. So you'll find that women who occupy those positions want to make sure that they keep them and hold on to them. But the women that you have come across have opened the space. They've supported you. They've made sure that you've gone up and made the best of who you are under all the circumstances, with everything standing in your way. You made it.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing that women are not people to literally open opportunities for others. And, I found myself, fortunate that I just landed up in the hands of women who were so willing to share, so willing to give, so willing to share the guidance. And that really motivates me as a person because it's tough playing tennis, to be honest, in this country. And for me, at some point, I'm like, why am I even doing it? But I get to understand not all of us are going to be presidents, not all of us are going to be CEOs. One has to do it. And if it has to be me, I'll just hang into this particular sport that is not well supported in the country. And for those who are from the same background as me, I just want them to understand that whatever dream that they aspire, it could be possible as long as you're working hard towards that. And the most important thing in life, don't be ashamed to ask for help. It doesn't matter where, but if you need help, be open. You never know which person is out there waiting for you, to give you that go ahead.
Yeah.
So don't be ashamed, because that's how life is.
You know, when I listen to you, I mean, again, as I emphasize the fact that, you have shared the stage with a lot of incredible people that have come before you, and that you're still there. I mean, you are still on this path to immense success, still winning, the SA Spring Open, as I mentioned last month. It's your second time. You competed in the Paralympics. Wimbledon, you got to the finals. Roland Garros. I mean, these are major events. And as you mentioned, the names like your Venus Williams, Naomi Osaka, and all of these incredible players. The one thing that they all speak to, it's one thing being good at the game. It's another thing having this. Because this is the big thing that I suppose defines who the champion is really going to be. Talk to me about your mind and your mindset going into these major tournaments.
Look, I think my mind is amazing, because I compete against people who have it all. They've been doing it since they were young, and I'm the only one from Africa, so to say, at the top. So to just be able to not look down on the background and on all that I have, but just to have a heart and a strong mind to be like, I'm as good as you are. It doesn't matter if you have the top wheelchair in the world with the latest technology. At the end of the day, what we're here for is to compete. So I'm just going to bring that and just show you what Africa is made of. We don't need to have it all to show them all that we're the best. As long as you have it in your heart and you're mentally strong, that just allows you.
Yeah.
So I think as a person, don't let those first world countries with all that they have intimidate you, because as a person, you also have strength. So you have so much to give. So for me, that's one thing that I've always been carrying in my head, that my situation doesn't define who I am. And the reason I'm here at the top competing with you girls, is because I'm as good as you are.
And you deserve it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what's so amazing. I mean, there are a lot of people that perhaps are sitting at home right now, they're watching, or they're sitting in the office and they're thinking, I woe to me. I haven't got this and I haven't got that, and I can't do this and I can't do that. I mean, and then we listen to your story, and it humbles, I think, a lot of people to think, hang on a second. I mean, you're coming from a rural area and you make it, with, like you say, no support, no money, no backing, not playing and not growing up with a tennis ball in your hand, or even perhaps holding a tennis racket until you get to that age. And then you make it to the finals of Wimbledon, all because of this and that, and for reaching out. So, I mean, what message do you give to women out there watching that perhaps feel stuck in whether it be their job, their relationship, or in their own head? What do you say to them?
I normally say as women, we have, a great sense of strength that we don't even know about, but we get to experience it during the toughest time of our lives. And for me, that's just a gift, because we're not aware that we have it, but we get shocked when we persevere or we overcome things during the toughest times. So that's one thing that I want women to realize, that we've got that greatest gift that no man has. The reason we conquer so many things is because we were born with this thing, and sometimes we don't even know where it's coming from, but it's just a gift. We have it. So let's not look down on that. We are conquerors, and I think we are the most resilient people in the world. We know how to bounce back.
Yeah.
It's also a gift. So embrace those qualities, your strength and your resilience. I think it's just the best thing that as women we have, and a lot of men don't have, and it's just a gift from God. We need to embrace it, acknowledge it, and keep using it. It doesn't help when we keep looking down on ourselves when things are not going wrong. Because I normally say, one thing that also carried me on in life is that the world doesn't care. That globe, it keeps rotating as you sulk and cry, and it keeps rotating. You keep seeing it day after a day. So you need to wake up, because the world keeps moving on. So at some point, you have to just like follow the world and keep moving, because your circumstances, your situation is not going to do you good, but you just have to rely on your strength and your resilience, because those are God-given gifts that we have.
Yeah, you either jump on the roller coaster or you stand on the side and you watch it and agree to not participate for your fears. But if you jump onto that roller coaster, what a ride you'll have. I mean, you never know where that ride is going to take you to, and I do love that. I really, really do. A quick couple of questions that I want to ask you. I know that we're running. I don't know how much time we got left, but I know it's not much. Have things changed for you, though? Because, we talk about women's sports and we talk about the fact that there just isn't enough support and sponsorship. And, for somebody who got to the Wimbledon finals, I want to see you on billboards all around the country. I want to see you as somebody that I look up to. And yes, you carry the flag, which I loved, but I also want to see you all over the place. And I want my children to be speaking about you. Are you getting that much-deserved attention and particularly support when it comes to sponsorships and things that'll get you to other tournaments?
Look, my team at Optimize, they're doing their best to make sure that they keep me going. Because for me, that's one thing that I told them. For me, what I need to be able to go out there and compete, because I work so hard to stay at the top and, qualify with merit and stuff, so I wouldn't miss opportunities that I work hard for. So one thing that I asked them to do, just please make sure that I'm on the road, I'm doing what I love. And, I think for the mere fact that I've accepted when I start, realizing what is it that I'm really doing, the lack of support and all that, having to accept that this is the situation in the country. And the reason that keeps me going into this sport is because I want to change that. I might not be the generation to be on the billboards, but maybe let me do it for the next generation so that when they come up, they get a right support. The one that I have at the moment, yes, I'm happy with it because it's a motivation. It keeps me going. It keeps me breaking records. It keeps me giving people hope. But for me, it's solely about the next generation and the future of tennis in this country. I would like to see it change. We shouldn't be that country where people see us, see our history and feel sorry for us. Well, we are more than that.
We are so much more than that.
Yeah.
And achieve, and we don't stop achieving. This country on the tip of Africa seems to achieve incredible things. Who's the best selfie you've had with? Come on now. I have to be a little bit of a groupie here. You go to Wimbledon.
Look,
surrounded by these people. Please tell me.
You know what? I have to tell you this story. Tell you this story. Billie Jean King.
Oh.
I wasn't there in the past. I don't know
She's
much
a
about
legend.
it, but I get to hang out with Billie Jean King,
Come on. And she must love you. Seriously.
Look, we get along really well. And Billie Jean King Enterprise and my agency are going to start working together to make sure that they support me. I just feel like being able to hang out with her and hear so many stories from her. And also, I got her signed book. So for me, I would say Billie Jean King, she's a legend,
Total.
She's a legend. Martina Navratilova also, those are legends, man. I get to hang out with those cool people more than, the now generations. I get to hang out with the legends when I'm out there, and I'm loving it because they're just like sharing, the stories, the history of tennis. They're just making me understand the game even better.
Oh, man, look at that. That is fantastic. What about your Roger Federers and your Nadals and your Venus Williams and those guys? Have they met you? Not have you met them, have they met you?
I'm sure they did. With the Williams sisters, with all the big stars, your Naomi, we share the same locker rooms. Federer, your Nadals, we eat in the same areas, I'm sure we all see each other. Everyone is like, oh, is that one?
It's so nice.
But
what a dream. What a dream. But it is hard to accomplish your dreams. You may set something for yourself and think, I don't know how I get there, but there is a way, and I think you've given us so much food for thought this morning. One of the other lessons that I've taken away from COVID is that we can learn to live with so much less. You don't need everything to live a beautiful life and to get to the places that you dream of. And I think that that's one thing I've taken away from you. You don't need it all thrown at you. you need to go out there, surround yourself with what matters, and that's what'll get you further.
Yeah, most definitely. And, also one thing I'm passionate about, obviously, from where I come from, where we are not exposed to all these nice sports facilities, I just wish one day, through my foundation, I'm able to do something like that,
Yes.
whereby I go back to the rural areas and be like, here's the tennis court, and this is what the tennis court for, and here's the program to run this thing. So just to, share broader knowledge of what I've learned out there in the world with the disadvantaged, people in this country.
Well, you keep on doing what you're doing. I know starting this foundation, the Montjane Sports Development Foundation in 2018, you're doing an amazing job, and we just admire you, and I now admire you even more if it was possible. Definitely, definitely one of my favorite conversations. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, can't wait to read your comments about this interview, because I can only imagine how you're feeling watching this. But I'll tell you, just sitting here and chatting to this amazing woman who, I promise you, Kgothatso, we have not seen the last of her. It's just phenomenal. You see, South Africa, we produce gems, but the gems need to just unveil themselves. Right, I'm going to hand you over now to the Honourable Minister of the Department of Small Business Development, who is going to address us here this morning. And if you don't mind, please welcome Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams.
Thank you, Program Director. Ministers present here, distinguished guests, women entrepreneurs, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and honor to be invited to the Top Women Global Virtual Summit for Africa 2021, which is hosted by the organizers. The partnership of the Commission for Gender Equality and the United Nations Women is so critical in the struggle for gender equality in South Africa and the world. Now, with corporate institutions like Standard Bank and Topcom Media, it brings hope to many women who are making huge strides within corporate in the country. That perhaps the values driven by the Commission for Gender Equality and the United Nations Women will permeate through corporate institutions and inspire a progressive, transformative discourse for gender equality within the private sector in South Africa. Our government has rightfully declared 2021 as the year of Charlotte Maxake in celebrating the spirit of this pioneer, this intellectual, an activist, a visionary, and an internationalist that continues to inspire women in the country and across the world. We say Mam Charlotte Manya Maxake is a trailblazer and a torchbearer for us as women in South Africa. This is because she has led the way in many facets of our struggle for gender equality, and we continue to draw power and strength from her wisdom and the struggles she waged during her time. Now, 27 years into democracy, there is no doubt that South Africa has made meaningful progress towards gender equality. Since time of the struggles waged by the 1956 generation of women who marched to the union buildings protesting against the extension of pass laws which were imposed to women confronting the apartheid regime in the country. These activists rebelled against an apartheid system that entrenched patriarchy in our society, which designed a system meant to control women and reduce them into submissive beings at the mercy of men in a racially divided country. We therefore gather today in this summit, celebrating the strides of these torchbearers, whom we are standing on their shoulders as the heroines that led the way 65 years ago. My dear brothers and sisters, the emancipation of women is a fundamental goal and a critical element of a democratic and prosperous South Africa. At the heart of the transformation agenda of our society is the need to address the three interrelated phenomena of gender oppression, class exploitation, and racial oppression, while creating a more conducive environment for the fostering of an equal and full participation of our people in all aspects of the development of our country. Since the dawn of our democracy, we've seen South African economy undergo profound restructuring. Macroeconomic stabilization has largely been attained, providing a platform for accelerating the growth rate. Women have enjoyed the benefits of this restructuring, although not to the fullest, as some are still being excluded. While women entrepreneurs are making strides to overcome gender-related biases and advance their business in South Africa, they still face several structural and social obstacles, which have been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. We need to be at the forefront in recognizing women entrepreneurs as decision makers, creative thinkers, digital innovators, and drivers of economic recovery. Our policies, interventions, and programs must prioritize women-owned businesses and create an enabling environment for them to participate meaningfully and effectively in the mainstream economy. The sixth administration is committed in ensuring that we build an inclusive economy with women at the center of driving that economy through their contributions in various sectors. My dear sisters, as highlighted by President in his address on the Women's Day, work is underway to develop a financial inclusion policy to address the barriers experienced by women-owned businesses and low-income earners to access credit, grants, and other financial transactions. These are interventions that we are committed to in ensuring that we build an inclusive economy with women having their cut into the transactions available within the different value chains. We have a dedicated Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities that champions the advancement of women's socio-economic empowerment and the promotion of gender equality in our country. This department is playing a dynamic role in the enhancement of the implementation of Vision 2030 as set out in the National Development Plan, by ensuring that its implementation is gender mainstreamed and responsive to the needs of South African women. Since 1994, we have introduced progressive legislation that seek to empower women and enable them to participate in all sectors of the economy. The South African National Policy Framework for Women's Empowerment and Gender Equality of 2002 establishes a clear vision and framework for gender mainstreaming across laws, policies, procedures, and practices which serve to ensure equal rights and opportunities for women and men in all spheres and structures of government, as well as in all workplaces. The BBBEE aims to redress the gender inequalities of the past and empower women through ensuring that there is substantive representation through shareholding, ownership, management control, and supplier development elements through the codes. To advance these codes, we have also established development finance institutions that must support the empowerment of women through funding women in acquiring majority interest in businesses. We should call to continue for preferential procurement that locates women-owned businesses at an advantageous point to be able to benefit and accelerate economic empowerment, especially for Black women. These pieces of legislation will only carry meaning to women when we see transformation across all sectors of our economy. And a conference like the Standard Bank Top Women Virtual Conference, which brings together policymakers, entrepreneurs, futurists, and industry experts, is critical in advancing this transformative agenda that seeks to advance the gender equality. This current administration established the Department of Small Business Development, which built from 2014 and meant to lead an integrated approach that promotes SMMEs and cooperative development in South Africa. Our department has a key element, which is to mainstream youth, women, and persons with disabilities in all its programs and interventions to ensure that as entrepreneurs, they transform into competitive entrepreneurs that can thrive in the mainstream economy. The mandate of our department, as it links directly to its commitment to supporting women-owned enterprises, is based on the belief that trade has the potential to expand women's role in the economy, deal with gender inequality, and expand women's access to skills and education. It is in this understanding that trade can expand business opportunities through increased market access and, in the process, create jobs. Our economies have increasingly become integrated since the advent of globalization. The development of products and manufacturing of goods that can easily fit into the global market has become much more important. It is therefore important that we locate women businesses in the space to benefit in these global markets through ensuring that 6,000 women-owned enterprises participate on the SheTrades platform. More than 200 SMEs and cooperatives will be exposed to the international market opportunities with an emphasis on the designated group that I mentioned above. The purpose of the SheTrades Hub is to roll out the SheTrades initiative within a local context by aligning with government initiatives around women's empowerment for increased local ownership and sustainable long-term impact, and to potentially provide a platform for the development of specific projects. Our department, through its implementing agency called SEDA, is adapting to ICT's SheTrades model to South African needs with the aim of leveraging the various national support programs. The implementation of the SheTrades Hub applies a portfolio approach that seeks to ensure alignment to existing programs within the small business development portfolio, as well as leverage the various national support programs available, such as the SMME Focus Localization Policy Framework and Implementation Program, and other programs, by creating a pipeline of support via our provincial branch network of women enterprises who are already supplying the domestic markets in order to enter the export market. To this end, we continue to engage stakeholders to create awareness and pursue collaborations. The conference convenes women from all sectors and sections of our society at a critical period when our government consolidates and drives plans to reconstruct, recover, and reset the economy as we recover from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. The element of gender inequality and economic inclusion is critical for all of us as we gather here to discuss ways of kickstarting this global economy as we recover from the pandemic. We are committed to ensuring effective gender mainstreaming in all aspects of the recovery plan, including through set-asides for women procurement and government, and legal remedies to close the gender pay gap in enabling women participation in the key economic sectors. It is important that we place women at the leading phase in the calls for land redistribution, ensure access to finance for women to be empowered. We are building a new economy that places digital innovation as the driver for economic growth. It is important that women-owned businesses are empowered to digitalize and enable technological innovation and creativity within their ventures. We have seen women entrepreneurs showing resilience and leading innovation, adapting into our new normal presented by the pandemic. While several challenges remain, it is encouraging to see how many women-owned small and medium enterprises are transforming the way they do business to benefit from the digital tools, including on the safe and convenient electronic payment solutions that are currently shaping e-commerce. As government, once more, we are committed to develop policy interventions that support practices which enable women to pursue careers in the digital space. The importance of ensuring the effective implementation of these policies and interventions remain critical. As I conclude, we are committed to working with partners of your caliber, partners that understand that for us to deliver a progressive and productive economic growth, we have to work together. This is why, as the department, we have said, we're not going to be able to do it alone. We may be small, but our task is too huge to carry. And therefore, we call upon all of you here to partner with us as we try to locate the small businesses as the anchor for economic transformation in our country. This commitment by yourself, Standard Bank, in ensuring that small businesses benefit in the financial sector will go a long way as we get to tell the stories of the journey that South Africa traveled during this pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best in the deliberations that we're going to undertake. And of course, let's stay safe. Those that have not vaccinated, please make sure that you do. It is the good thing that is going to protect our women-owned businesses. Therefore, there will not be any lockdown if you only vaccinate. And that means no limitations. Thank you so much.
Guys, I'm not just my friend. You are my bosses. Leah Bossosela. Bona, as you can see, we are golfing it today.
And like, what's with these banks and these fancy new cards?
New card? Soft life.
Making people think they're living the fancy card life all of a sudden. Until it's time to stay connected and it all falls apart.
No, my data can be done already. All my friends. Ask easy.
Angeke balunge nge-MyMo Plus with a once-off 110 Rand fee that you get back in airtime and 2 gigabytes of data for free for the first 3 months on Standard Bank Mobile.
Is there Wi-Fi for this golf park?
Wi-Fi for golf course. Okay, it's our hotspot.
I need it. We are back.
Open yours today at standardbank.co.za.
Right, great address there by the Minister. Wonderful to have her, of course, in her portfolio now as the Minister of the Department of Small Business Development, of course, coming from communications. So lovely to have her there. Right, let's take a look at some of the tweets that you've been sending in, because it's been wonderful reading your comments, both on Twitter and on Instagram. I haven't popped onto the Facebook pages yet, so I'm looking forward to reading Facebook as well. But please keep on commenting, keep on sharing. I'm seeing some of your Instagram feeds as well, so I'm looking at those and loving your comments. But this is from Facebook. I'm not Facebook. This is from Twitter. This is what you've been saying there. Pumeza saying, that moment when Kgatso reminds us that as women, we have it in us to overcome, the power in unity.